據新修訂嘅商品說明條例，商戶冇向消費者充分提供貨品或服務嘅重要資料，或威逼消費者購物，都可能犯法。消費嗰陣提高警覺，先至精明。
Hello and welcome to the Financial Report. Local shares finished higher today as traders welcomed a move by the mainland central bank to ease a liquidity crisis that has hit China's financial markets. The Hang Seng Index gained 482 points to close at 20,338. Turnover stood at $78 billion. Shares were also given a boost by an overnight Wall Street rally. Now let's have a look at some of today's most active stocks. ICBC's up by 30 cents, China Mobile's up by $1.50 and HSBC Holdings up by 80 cents. Bank of China is up by 10 cents, AIA is up by 50 cents and Tencent is up by $7. Taking a look at the Hong Kong dollar exchange rates, the US dollar stands at 7.75, the pound sterling's at 11.92, the Japanese yen's at 7.94, the euro is at 10.10, and 100 Hong Kong dollars will give you 79.23 renminbi. In overseas markets, the London FTSE's up by 58 points at 6,160. London gold is trading at $1,230 and 61 cents an ounce. In Frankfurt, the DAX is up by 114 points at 7,925. And in Paris, the CAC is up by 64 points at 3,714. And that's the finance for Wednesday night. Join us for the main news after the break.
Coming up, main news and weather report.
Sparkling 25.
The ATV 2013 Miss Asia pageant is about to start. Ladies, come and show your beauty to the world.
The ATV 2013 Miss Asia pageant is now open for your application online. Every day we learn. From him, from her, from someone we barely know. But what does it mean to you and me? Find out the answers on Global 3000, Thursday night at 8. He spent a lifetime eating the finest food of the world. For the first time ever, he will eat at an ordinary home. Pleasing him is tough. It might be a disaster. But it could also become a dining star. Michael Winner's Dining Stars, Thursday night at 10:05.
这里是山水甲天下的地方，这里是刘三姐生活的美丽家园，这里是徐霞客赞美的旅游胜地，天下风景美在广西。天下风景美在广西。
诚意燕赵，胜尽河北。爽爽的贵阳。
We heard you have some great products to sell. How about making ATV's 2013 Add Easy package your one-stop solution? Our promotion reaches as far as the Pearl River Delta region and southern China, and our prices start at just $68,000. Call 3168-2232 or our mainland hotline now.
Good evening, you're watching the main news on ATV. I'm Belinda Lloyd.
And I'm Brittyn Clennett. Here are tonight's top stories.
Government withdraws request for funds to expand Cheung Kwan O landfill after failing to win lawmakers' support.
Security chief frustrated over US silence as Hong Kong demands answers to whistleblowers' hacking claims.
3 Chinese astronauts returned to Earth safely after successful 15-day space mission. The government suffered an embarrassing setback this morning when it was forced to withdraw a request for funds to expand the Cheung Kwan O landfill.
The controversial plan failed to win the support of legislators, including many from the pro-establishment camp, but the government said it will keep trying to convince people that expanding the landfills is vital. ATV's Berlong reports.
The government has been warning that the city's 3 landfills have to be expanded to cope with a waste disposal crisis. The dumps in Cheung Kwan O, Tuen Mun and Ta Koo Ling are expected to run out of space within a few years. But a move to enlarge them has been widely opposed, especially in Cheung Kwan O, where the landfill is close to residential areas, leading to complaints about the stench and health hazards. Most lawmakers sided with residents opposed to the enlargement scheme, forcing the government to withdraw its funding application for the Cheung Kwan O site during this morning's Public Works Subcommittee meeting. The writing was on the wall for the government when the biggest pro-establishment party, the DAB, decided on the eve of the meeting not to back the administration's bid. Environment Secretary Wong Kam Sing expressed disappointment, saying Hong Kong still needs to enlarge all 3 landfills. He did not say when the government will lodge another bid for funds, but vowed to continue to lobby legislators.
I think the point is that the lawmakers and also the society would like to see more concrete progress of those committed improvement measures, so that I think would like to carry out those improvements as soon as possible. At the same time, would like to get the earliest time to come back to the electrical about the Cheung Kwan O landfill extension.
The subcommittee will decide on the government's bid to fund the other 2 waste dumps in Tuen Mun and Ta Koo Ling at a later date. Should the panel vote in favour, the application will go to the Finance Committee for a final decision. Officials hope this will happen before LegCo goes on its summer break next month. New People's Party lawmaker Michael Tien said he would have supported the funding request today had the administration not withdrawn the Cheung Kwan O bid.
Now government pull out 1 region and expect the other 2 to carry the extra burden of a daily 1,000 trucks going to Cheung Kwan O is now going to be diverted to the other 2 landfills. That to me is totally unfair. This is a collective responsibility. These 3 landfills handle all the waste created by the whole of Hong Kong. All right? And each of them should share their burden.
News that the government had shelved the Cheung Kwan O expansion plan, at least for now, was welcomed by residents, including 20 protesters who greeted the announcement by ending their hunger strike. But Saigon District Councillor Christine Fong, one of those who fasted for the past 2 days, warned that the government may make another attempt for funds very soon. About a dozen Tuen Mun protesters also called off their hunger strike, but said they will continue to rally residents in the district to keep fighting against moves to expand the landfill in their backyard. Berlin, ATV News.
Security Secretary Lai Tung-kwok has accused Washington of staying silent over allegations made by whistleblower Edward Snowden that Hong Kong was a victim of US hacking.
Snowden's recent departure from Hong Kong has also strained bilateral ties, with the US hinting that the SAR's long-standing request to have visa-free access to the United States may not be granted. The war of words between Hong Kong and the US over whistleblower Edward Snowden raged on today, this time with Security Secretary Lai Tung-kwok taking his turn to criticize his American counterparts. He expressed grave disappointment over US authorities' failure to respond to claims made by Snowden that the US National Security Agency had been hacking Hong Kong computer networks since 2009. Lai said his bureau had approached American counterparts last Friday, urging them to address the allegations that Hong Kong was a target of cyber espionage. Up till now, Lai has not received any reply, and he urged Washington to provide a full explanation to the people of Hong Kong. Earlier today, Snowden's allegations were raised in Legco by information technology lawmaker Charles Mok. He raised doubts about existing laws which deal with cyber spying, saying they lag behind the times. Mok also wanted an assurance that the government will not obtain information directly from internet service providers to snoop on people. Lai stopped short of giving such assurances, but insisted that government bureaus and departments have never requested direct access to internet service systems in the past. Washington is frustrated with Hong Kong for allowing Snowden to leave the SAR on Sunday, despite a US request to have him extradited to face criminal charges. Snowden's departure from Hong Kong has put bilateral ties under strain. Diplomatic difficulties are already beginning to surface over Hong Kong's long-standing request for its citizens to have visa-free access to the United States. The State Department was asked if the US would retaliate by not offering visa-free access.
As I said, I'm just not going to get into it, but clearly these issues have an impact when we have a breakdown in cooperation on such a key issue.
New People's Party chairwoman Regina Ip, who's also a former security secretary, feared that the US may not grant Hong Kong visa-free access as a result of the diplomatic fallout, but she's still holding out hope that US authorities will handle this issue rationally. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has ended the mystery over Edward Snowden's whereabouts after days of confusion. During an official visit to Finland, Putin revealed that Snowden is indeed in a Moscow airport transit area. In his first public comments on the Snowden saga, Putin refused to hand the whistleblower to Washington, as he is a free person in transit, and added that Russia did not have any extradition agreement with the US. He also dismissed US accusations of Russia aiding Snowden as ravings and rubbish. Putin's remarks prompted US Secretary of State John Kerry to caution Russia that there are standards of behavior between sovereign nations. Kerry added that he hoped Russia would see that it's not in its interest to side with a fugitive. A pro-government group is planning to recruit up to 10,000 people to counter the Occupy Central movement, which is campaigning for full universal suffrage.
Organisers of the new group say they'll confront their rivals in a peaceful manner and will not be a burden to the police.
Just days before the anniversary of the handover, pro- and anti-government groups appear to be heading on a collision course. The pro-establishment Voice of Loving Hong Kong today said it'll host a carnival at the Cultural Centre Piazza in Tsim Sha Tsui on Monday to mark the 16th anniversary of the handover. The 3-hour event starts at 3 p.m, while a massive pro-democracy march is scheduled to set off from Victoria Park in Causeway Bay at 2 p.m. The carnival highlight is a swearing-in ceremony to kick off a series of events to counter the Occupy Central movement. Occupy Central is a civil disobedience movement led by activists who plan to block the roads of the city's business district as a last resort to press for genuine universal suffrage. The Voice of Loving Hong Kong said it'll set up a group to monitor the democracy campaigners and report any illegal activities to the police. It's also planning to recruit up to 10,000 people to counter the road blockade. The organisers did not give details, but said their action will not be a burden to officers.
If we are planning a peaceful action and not include any violence, why do the police need to get involved? Unless the Occupy Central is